Hello and welcome. I am Cyril Stober. Abuja, Nigeria was host of the UNESCO Global Media and Information Literacy Week with the theme Nurturing Trust. Now, at the end of the global conference, the Abuja Declaration was made. Today, I have one of the participants who joins me to discuss the focus. Olunifesi Suraj is an associate professor in the Department of Mass Communication, University of Lagos. Dr. Suraj is a UNESCO consultant on media and information literacy. He is also a member of UN UNESCO Global Experts in countering hate speech and fake news through education. Dr. Suraj, thanks for joining us on
It's my pleasure.
One-on-One. Right.
It's my pleasure, sir.
Well, now, one of the key declarations at this Global Week was for change in media and information regarding the issue of misinformation, disinformation, and fake news. Now, you were one of those who spoke on the media and the mindset. Take us through that.
Thank you so much. The issue of trust becomes germane because we are living in a post-truth era. It's an era where the distinction between fake news and real and truth is no longer there. And why is it no longer there? Because the conventional media, the public sphere we used to have, was well guided by professionals like you who are trained to know what is fake and what is real, and who knows all the attributes of media, and who set agenda for a kind of communication ecosystem, engagement that can lead to productivity in societies. But these days, that gate has been opened. And just like any house, when there is a break in the house, thieves, strangers, all manner of people comes in. The same thing when there is a dam and the dam is flooded, just like we have right now in Nigeria, everywhere is thrown into turmoil. That's exactly what has happened in the communication ecosystem. The gatekeeping theory, which you know very well, is out of the place. The gatekeepers are no longer there. The real opinion leaders who guide societies to discourse are no longer there. The deliberative discourse for engagement are no longer there. And because of that, there's now a mistrust. A mistrust in the sense that there is platform now, and this platform on social media, we now have people who are not trained as a professional who has come to occupy that area. And people also, they feel that they're journalists, they produce content, they publish content, and this content, they don't do enough verification, source authentication of all this content, and then they push it out. And, and this is where the problem is. The danger is people who have agenda. Now, it used to be that the broadcasters or the journalists set agenda, but now they set agenda. They call themselves media influence or social media influencer, they set agenda. And this agenda are tailored towards political economy, in the sense that they want economic gain. All what they're after is economic gain in form of skits. You have seen somebody produce skits. He went to a university and said, well, this is what, after so many years, I couldn't get a job, so give me my money back. And between me and you, Cyril, I will tell you that it's just a skit. He wants to attract attention. It's an attention economy. And I tell you, that guy has made a lot of money from that skit. He didn't mean it, actually. So now people set agenda, and those agenda are based on economic agenda. Politicians also set agenda based on political agendas. And they know what people want to hear. In normal media, real news doesn't sell. It's the fake one that sells. Now, people knew what exactly people want to hear. When you say a dog bites a man, well, it's no news. But man bites a dog, then it's big news. So people are tailored to that kind of mindset. So people now begin to look, okay, since this is what people want to hear, they like frivolities, they like entertainment, let us make news entertaining by producing frivolities, by promoting it. And so people begin to prioritize those in form of clickbait culture. The number of traffic that comes to you, once there's enough of traffic that comes to you, advert automatically plays on such information, which is based on algorithm. So you are making money while you are really fooling people out. So the mindset now comes in that because people have seen the mindset, and then the search engines also work on that kind of political economy. Now they give you the information, they feel that you are tailored to, you are predisposed to, not information that you think you should hear. And so they create a kind of filter bubble, personalized information, in which that when you search internet, based on your history, the algorithm produces to you the kind of information you want to hear. And most of those information are fake news and not real news.
Dr. Suraj, many of the defenders of the new media would tell you that this is a reason, because there's a deficit somewhere with the traditional media. And so nature abhors a vacuum. Digitization, it's a digital world. And so everyone with a smartphone now is able to disseminate information real time. There's a school that argues that objectivity is in itself subjective, because it's the result of your background, your training, and your outlook. But with the new media or the social media, real time, everything is given in the raw form. Is that an acceptable reason?
Well, that's a theory called democratic participant theory, which states that the media is becoming too elitist, it's becoming too centralized, and people don't have access to media. And that's what the agenda setting, because the media cannot cover everywhere, so you have to set agenda on what to cover. Now, that theory says that everybody should own their own media and should be able to express themselves. That gave birth to social media. That is the theory behind social media. Now, as good as that may be, because it provides freedom of information, which is a fundamental human right. I'm a social media expert, actually. And then what that medium gives is a platform to enhance democracy, since that freedom of expression. But the facts still remain, like you said, that where people say there's a lacuna. Yes, there's a lacuna normally, and then there's a convergence of the technology has now brought up people to, to hear their voices. Before, minority voices might not be heard, but now they are heard because of technology. But the problem is this. You have police in society to do what? To guide that society. The police might not be 100% perfect, but their presence somehow instill fear in those who want to perpetrate evil. Now, throwing the gate open, that's a problem. The problem now is that this medium, these people that are coming over to, publish whatever they publish, they're not trained. They're not trained. That is where we have this problem in the ecosystem. They don't know what is fake, what is real. People share information without asking questions. That, okay, this information I'm seeing, is it true or is it real? If I like Mr. Cyril and I like him, if I see good information, I'll send it. If I don't like Mr. Cyril, if I see bad information, even though those information might not be true, I'll share it because I don't like him. So that bias is there. But in the real media, that will not happen, because you know that you are accountable and that you are supposed to guide society. So you have to do your source verification and source authentication for you to do that. So we are not against social media. It's a good way. It has opened up the space. It has given people voices. Minority voices are heard. People, if you go back to a concept of Habermas's concept called public sphere, Habermas said that, deliberative discourse society, people should deliberate their issues. And he was of the opinion that television and radio then were being paternalized for advertorial measures. Now, the public has been open right now. It has become inclusion. The children have a voice, the women has a voice, the minority has a voice, which is quite good. But there are so much issues associated with it. And for us and that bring a lot of distrust, because people share information that are not real. And people are not media literate. They are gullible. You see, when people are gullible and they believe whatever they see, because they say it's in social media, the fact that something is trending does not make it true. That's what people don't believe. People believe that, what is it trending? I don't see it's trending everywhere. It doesn't make it true. People don't have that knowledge. People don't have that Those who shun out media, they have a preconceived mind. There's a purpose for financial media. People need to know those who are behind the information they are consuming. People don't know that. For every information, there's a motive behind it. Either economic motive, political motive, or personal motive. People need to be aware. People need to be aware that it's not all that when you see information, you need to do critical thinking. You need to evaluate. People don't have that knowledge. And so when they see media, just like any media effect theory, they believe it. And once they believe it, and you can see what it has caused in Rwanda. You can see what has caused in US, Capitol Hill. You can even see what has caused in this nation. So we cannot leave that space like that. We have to do something about it.
And Nigeria is grappling with so many challenges, developmental challenges, and especially in the matter of democratic ideals.
Yeah.
And there are some who would say today the country is almost at the brink, and some would blame the activities of the non-professionals who have rather, highlighted those things that are likely to push the nation further to the brink than those things that would pull it back. And how does a society go about making sense out of this maze, especially at this time when it's easy to lay hands? I mean, you yourself just said it. The fastest thing that goes around is the social media.
It's social media. It's like I said, it's really a challenge, and that is why UNESCO is so concerned about this challenge, the ethical part of social media. Social media is good. It's fantastic. My area of expertise is social media. You see, and we believe that that's the only way we can have freedom of expression, freedom of information. And to be sincere with you, Mr. Surya, you will discover that a lot of good things have happened based on social media. It has brought government to accountability. The issue of transparency has been there. There are so many issues that were buried that normally conventional media would not bring out, that social media has brought out. And those things were true. Let us not deceive ourselves. They were true issues. We have seen things that are happening that normally it would not have happened, for social media, to throw it up. But in the sense of doing that, that's what we call social responsibility theory. That's what we call framing theory. You see, the way you frame your language matters a lot, even though you are discussing truths. But these people are not exposed to that. The way you frame those things. And it also occurs that it's not everything that sometimes you have to put out there at that particular time. Not later it can come out, but that particular time, because it can be some chaotic moment. So the only way to go about it is a form of regulation. But that regulation is not going to be a censorship regulation.
We'll talk about that, because that's a whole area, regulation and not censorship. But then technology, ordinarily, which has made the life of man a lot better, has also been responsible for this huge challenge we face. I mean, in the wake of the COVID-19 pandemic, people could still function, society could still function using the power of technology. Conferences were held, people held meetings, virtual meetings, and even at this Global Week, many of the sessions, people joined virtually. And so, technology has provided that base. But it's the same technology that has provided the tools for what someone has alleged might be the platform to start another world war. So how do you go about regulation or responsible
engagement?
Yes, engagement.
Now, when you mention technology, technology is a very big word. Social media is technology, but between me and you, television also is a technology. Radio is a technology. The print technology, they are all technology. That's why we call it new media or social media. Now, even in those days of Hitler, Second World War, Hitler used technology, he used oration, he used propaganda, and that is why, because that time the government controlled that tool. So it's easy for a tool of propaganda, and it has a wide effect. Now, even the issue of terrorism has been linked to all this. Now, technology is fine, like I mentioned, it's good. Like I tell people, every invention has its good and bad side. just like a coin. It has head, it has tail. Now, the fact that it has its own bad side does not make it bad, actually. What we should do is that we should do what we call SWOT analysis. The strength, the weakness, the threat and opportunities. Now, we should mitigate the weakness and the threat and try to advance the strength and opportunities. That is where the responsible regulations comes in. Now, you don't say because you have headache and cut the head of somebody. No, you don't do that. You have to find a way to relieve that headache. Now, technology, now the question is, how do a particular country maximize the use of technology and also use it also to do what? To lower the evils. Now, my fear of technology is that it could end up in the hand of authoritarian power. And I've seen that trend already. During the COVID-19, it was used as a form of surveillance. Like authoritarian regime use it very well to trace people, to survey people, to monitor people, which is against their privacy. It's against their confidentiality. The same technology right now you see in some countries, like I don't want to mention some country like China, for instance, which are authoritarian regime, you see that it's a form of coercion. Because once I can link you up using AI blockchain and I get to know where you go, how you move, and trace you and get that data all about you.
It's already happening with your smartphone. Where you have records of everywhere.
And that is where I'm going. Because we have just few people sitting on a world data. We have Google, Facebook. These guys are small company, but sitting on the world data. That is too dangerous. So my issue is that we must democratize technology. We must democratize the public space. And how do we do that? It has to be through engagement. You mentioned something like regulation. Yeah. And the regulation has to be a multi-stakeholder regulation. When you talk about regulation, what comes to government's mind, any government, I'm not talking about the Nigerian government right now, is censorship. But censorship is not the way to go. The way to go is that you educate to regulate. If, for instance, I'm well tutored and I know that, okay, not every information I receive is true. How do I get to know, how do I get to do fact checking of this information? I know the source of information. I know how to get to the source of information. I know how to look for the author of that information and what he has been writing and his philosophy and his idea. And I know that, okay, I can do source of verification. So before I share, I think, I click wisely, and then I look before sharing. If that emotional intelligence can be there, that person, before you share, it can beat that bias, then we are at the brink of defeating figures.
It's a tall order, isn't it? Because people don't really have the time to... Right now, there are certain search engines you can use to verify certain stories that are put out. But how many people have the time and patience to diligently go through that process? I mean, it's a lot easier to just click and
get it what you want to get. That is where MIL comes in. That is media and information literacy. What we are saying is that now, since everybody cannot go to school of journalism and they cannot be exposed to all these theories, MIL is an intervention for this. That we have to, and that's where the government comes in. We have to spend a lot of time, resources, and money to make sure that every individual is media and information literate. Literacy is no longer ability to read and write alone. Literacy has gone beyond that. Literacy is talking about intellectual literacy. It's talking about critical thinking. It's talking about dialoguing. And every education is deliberate. Every education means that you have to sit in a class and lecture you. So what education passes across to people, that discipline of sitting in class, that discipline of being institutionalized, that discipline of writing, that discipline of trying to learn everything and subject you to rigors of exam, is a training that produces patience. If you see you, Mr. Surya, as a professional, you see that attributes in you. They are learned skills which form your attitude with time. Now, MI is talking about attitude, skills, and competencies. That every student, right from their kindergartens, right from that age. Attitude are formed at a very young age. Now, these children are exposed to this media without proper education. It's like giving a soldier a gun without training him how to shoot. It's going to kill a lot of people. So, right from kindergarten's area, let us begin to expose this. That's what the recommendation I gave to Paris when I was invited in 2015 on this curriculum intervention. From kindergartens, let's begin to educate these students so that they can learn, they can begin to have that attitude to information. Like you said, that it's not easy. It's not easy because people are not used to it. It's not easy because people are not tutoring it, because it's not their way of life. Let us make that literacy a way of life. What we are seeing in media and information literacy is that it's a long life learning. It's learning to death, learning from cradle to the grave. It doesn't stop. It's a continuous thing. So when people begin to learn that from early age, and then just like you train up a child, you train them up in media and information literacy. They learn it in school, they learn it at home, both formal and informal section. They grow up with it, they gather skills with it, they have attitude with it, they develop a kind of attitude and skills. It becomes part of them. And as a result, it's only difficult for them to pause. In school, people teach intellectual question, but emotional intelligence is not being taught in school. This is what my head is talking about. And you see, social intelligence is not being taught in school. These are the things that makes life bearable. So if you begin to look at these skills, at these skill sets, MIL, Media and Information Literacy, is saying that the government should begin to do what they call educational intervention and begin to see that every curriculum imbibe this. Somebody said something, say, if you want to change a nation, change the curriculum. It starts with the curriculum. Curriculum is a form of radicalization. It's not all radicalization that are wrong. There are negative radicalization, there are positive radicalization. You can radicalize someone in a positive way. Books is a form of radicalization. If you read a book, philosophy, it became a part of school of thought. So, and these people grew up. I grew up learning those things. So when you begin to have that interventions, that takes time. But what most government, what they're looking for is quick fix, which is why we come out with a speech bill to hang people. All those things wouldn't work. Because people have formed attitude already. And attitude, behavioral change communication, is not easy. So MIA is talking about behavioral change communication. It's going to take some time, but we build it. It's not going to be something 5 years. It's going to be lasting years. And with time, those people who can change, in mass what we call diversion of innovation theories. That is, there's early adopter, there's late adopter, there are laggards. We begin to look at intervention at these people. And then with time, creatively time, we form a society that is media and information literate, a society that is conscious of their information, a society that is conscious of what they are sharing, a society that is pausing and thinking critically. Another problem is that critical thinking is not part of our curriculum. You see, I have a problem with some students sometimes. You see, in the classroom, and it has to do with intervention. We teach the students, we come with a note, and then they regurgitate what they have learned. That is not learning for me. You see, that should not be a learning. It should be a participatory class where the students have a voice, where they reason together, and then when you set your question, you set a scenario question, a problem-solving question that the student can only apply what they have learned, not cramming what they have done. So these are interventions. If we can change that, and we can have these pedagogical interventions and curriculum intervention, Mr. Australia, it's a matter of time. Let's give it maybe 50 years time, we'll get there.
All right. Partnerships. It's one of the things that was harped on at the UNESCO conference, and they said in addressing these issues, partnerships, and more partnerships. How is this applied to it?
Yeah, because, we cannot do it alone. See, government does not have all the answers. You see, I'm also an IT person. I've listened to Mr. Enua Nidaman, and he's talking about regulatory measures now. He's talking about co-regulation. He's saying that a time has passed where a particular regulator just come up and give order. That we are facing a society where what we're experiencing now, we've not experienced it before. So we need a multi-stakeholder approach. It's talking about code of practice. It's talking about an open regulation where people coming to deliberate, the stakeholders. And so the partnership we're talking about MIL is that when it comes to regulations of this media, we are saying that the government cannot continue the old approach of censorship, of top-handedness. No, that let's bring in people who are involved. Let's bring in the academic inside. Those who have the theory, let's bring in the practitioners inside, the civil organization, the government inside. Let's bring in the people who are also intergovernmental organizations. Let us sit down on equal platform, not on top-down approach. Let us discuss, let's dialogue, and see, okay, how does it affect you as government? How does it affect you as organizations? Now, can we come to a kind of a meeting point where everybody's interest is taken into consideration? I understand that no responsible government will leave his government and all manner of things begin to happen. It's not going to happen. But at the same time, in trying to kill, you don't kill a fly with an hammer. You're going to break the glass. So there should be a measure in such a way that people, every stakeholder is what is enjoying. And collaboration, talking about partnership, is that governments need to do intergovernmental partnership because there are different laws, there are different cultures. I tell people, Mr. Suri, I don't know which state you are from, but what is a speech to you might be a free speech to me. It's about perception. You get the point? And if you don't have that intercultural dialogue, I will not understand you. And one of the ways to live peacefully is to have that intercultural education, literacy. It's part of MIL. MIL is about media literacy, information literacy, intercultural literacy, and digital literacy, all combined together. It's a multidisciplinary approach. So talking about collaboration, we are saying that it's not only about media scholars alone. We talk about psychologists coming in now, talk about education coming in, and talk about all manner of philosophy coming, everybody coming in to see what exactly can be done to make sure that we have a good regulation. And partnership, also governments. UNESCO, that I consult for, you see, we have partnership with governments. You see, like this one we did now, Nigerian government sponsor it, Japan government also put money, Swedish government put money. They didn't say it's really happening in Nigeria, why we put our money there? No, they also supported it. This collaboration, we want the collaboration between the platform owners who we have accused of algorithm. You can see what happened in the Senate when they were called, when Mr. Mark was called, and they were putting questions that he could not answer. You see, he has a platform, but the platform has gone beyond him in terms of usage. So now we're not asking him, look, my friend, this is your platform. You want money. You're a business guy. Forget that you are all giving people platform. These people are business people. They run. They are multi-billion. Their stock, you see how their value in the stock is. Now you run money. How do you get the money? Based on algorithm, based on prioritizing information. And then that is why sometimes they were accused that, are you supporting extremism? Because once something like, Boko Haram kill, sorry to use that word,
yes,
kill 10 soldiers, it become a big news. And believe me, everybody will go into that site to see. And this Boko Haram, they know what they are doing. They want free publicity.
So sometimes, now this is an interesting angle. So sometimes we see in cases like this, for instance, Nigeria is facing security challenges, insurgency, kidnapping, and terrorism generally.
Yeah.
And it would seem that the terrorists, the perpetrators of these acts, are getting media mileage. People have spoken out for some form of restraint in giving a voice to the oppressors and not the oppressed. How can this be carried out where you're committed to telling the truth, but then being careful not to glamorize violence and terror?
Yeah, you see, we're coming back to the mindset again, and what Margaret Thatcher called the oxygen theory. Margaret Thatcher saw that many years ago when he was the Prime Minister of Britain, and says like the terrorists are enjoying the publicity, and the media are enjoying the patronage, because when bad news comes up, the terrorists that did the job, they know that media will blow it up because people like such news than real news. And that is the problem of mindset, the attitude of people. Now, the media want to sell. Sorry, you are part of them, Mr. Sidi. They want to sell. Now, they put out such information because they know that people like such information. Now, they come for patronage. The terrorists get their publicity. Now, how do we break the chain? Now, this is where another thing comes up, social responsibility. We can, because the media should tell the truth and say the way it is. But can I say something without mentioning the numbers? Yes, framing. Framing comes in there. And then you have a nation frame before you have journalism. Now, okay, Boko Haram attack, soldiers at a particular point, and then some lives were lost. That's good enough. But by saying that Boko Haram killed about 100 people, 100 soldiers, the Boko Haram is very happy that these things have got out. That will bring fear in the hearts of people. That will be psychological. This is psychological warfare. That will make the military to melt. Their morale comes down. These are not good. What should have happened is that where there's some attack at a particular point and then casualties were recorded on the part of the military, that's framed, that's okay. So you're still telling the truth, but you are not igniting society. But between me and you, press intentionally said those things because why? Don't say their papers.
All right. Well, we'll take a break from this interesting conversation. We'll be back in just a couple of moments, and there'll be more from Dr. Suraj, and we will try to unravel if it still holds to say publish and be damned. Stay with us. We'll be back.
Weekend File, your Saturday delight, going to places from the obscure to the hinterland and cities, bringing you development stories and perspectives, connecting the people with government and stakeholders on critical issues of our national life.
We are live in Abuja.
It's 9 p.m. every Saturday on the network service of the NTA. Weekend File, you can't afford to miss it.
Why should we be in a difficult situation financially?
Once upon a time we were rich, but we're not a rich country anymore.
Disaster management is everybody's business.
In all these times, the organization turned to Nigeria.
We would as much want to harness the capacity that is within us so that we see how we can become self-reliant.
1 month ended and you said you are increasing warning strike by 2 months. I mean, you are incubating madness.
Even if these are officials of government who have been told to go and enforce the law and they have gone against the law itself, they must be held accountable.
One-on-One, Friday, 10:30 p.m. on NTA Network. Thanks for staying with us. We're still here with Dr. Olunifesi Suraj, Associate Professor of Mass Communication at the University of Lagos and UNESCO consultant. We used to say publish and be damned. Can we say that anymore?
Well, to a certain extent. In academics, actually, it's publish or perish. But in the media ecosystem, publish and be damned. But actually, if we fear to publish, we'll be doing the nation a disservice. We'll be doing the community a disservice. And remember that we had the journalists at the emblem of trust. This time between the government and the people. People trust them. That's why they are called the fourth estate of the realm. If we don't perish because we don't be down, we are already shying away from our responsibilities. And then we are no longer going to be trusted. You know, something is about trusting now. The real question is it will still publish because freedom of expression. People are entitled to their opinion. And that's another thing we're talking about, MIL, Media Information Literacy. Then between opinion and fact. Everybody can express opinion, but they are facts. Now, and the truth about in social media, that's why I tell people, social media is about opinion. But journalists should be about facts.
Yeah. Where then do you draw the line between opinions and what might be termed incitement?
Incitement. Good. Well, it's tricky. But the truth is that we should disregard opinion and go for the facts. And I think that is where the mistake that legacy media is doing. I mean the conventional media is doing. They are competing with social media. You see, I know there's a convergence of technology helping both, but the breaking of news, Mr. Suri, is no longer in the purview of conventional media. It's in the purview of the social media. That's the truth, that's the reality, because it's live. What I expect the conventional media to do is to scale up their game. How? By going for the truth, by doing source verification. Anybody has anything to say, anybody can say anything in social media, is their opinion. And people, education again, should learn that don't take social media serious until the media, the conventional media as well, has make announcement on it. And that is where I feel the legacy media should start working. Honestly, social media is not a threat to the conventional media. It's an advantage. An advantage to have more confidence. People are tired of what is going on social media. Like I told you, it's a post-truth era. You don't know what to show, they don't want to force again. But if you can have media who come out from that mess and refocus their attention on the fundamental philosophy of journalism, which is what? Truth. And they begin to harness the truth. Just like you go to the sea of information, you are getting the fish. Begin to say what this is true, this is not true. We have read into social media after source verification, investigation for that. This is true. That trust will come back. People begin to look for, when they read something on social media, they go back to social media to see what is truth and what is false. And that is where I feel the conventional media should come up to. So, facts and opinion is tricky. Opinion is anybody can have opinion. I can have opinion about Mr. Suri. Mr. Suri is a good man? I don't think so. He laughs too much on the television. He's so free with everybody. I don't like him. Some people say, I love him because he does his job very well. It's an opinion. But the fact is that Mr. Suri is a professional. He does his job well. So you see, people can express opinion. But fact is validated opinion. Opinion that has been based to be true, to be well organized, not based on bias, on sentiment. You know, I could be expressing sentiment. But sentiment, we should be able to leave sentiment and leave bias and come to fact, which is very valuable, irrespective of anybody. That is the difference. And I think that is what legacy journalism should be after now.
At the Abuja week,
Yes.
the voice of the youth resonated.
Yeah.
And that's another angle. The target of the youth, and some part of it, specifically women.
Yes.
So let's begin with the youth first. Voice of youth.
Well
a
done.
strong voice in all of this, in promoting MIL.
Good. If you go back to Abama's concert I talk about the public sphere, one of the critics of that public sphere, which also are one of them, because I wrote a book, I wrote a journal letter, I call it Redefine the Public Sphere. Abama's is too elitist, meaning that they have opinion leaders, those who are well-read in society, the women voice, and then they come with children voice and youth voice, and because they can't and they don't understand what we're talking about. So now, we have come to a digital era, which will give that inclusion. What MIL is saying, which we have seen in what we did, is that it's an inclusiveness. Yoruba has this proverb to say. They say, well, a child's hand might not reach the top of a roof. Because in those days they put kettle in top of a roof. But they also say that an adult's hand cannot enter into the kettle. So you need words. And they also say something, Yoruba say something, they say, where you want to wash hand properly, the right hand and the left hand have to wash each other very well. This is an inclusiveness, you see. So we need inclusiveness, and that is one of the strengths of digital platform. Now, MIL is saying that we don't need to leave anybody out. We need to bring the youth inside. And I'll tell you, every year we plan this program all over the whole world. When, because of lockdown, South Africa last year were not able to go, but we did it online. But I was in Sweden, I was in Sao Paulo, I was in Lithuania, I was in US, Oregon. We've been doing it like that. And what we do is that we now here mark a day for the youth. We want you to be participants. And that's what I was telling you, that let us start with them. Because they are the future. Once they learn this, and they are part of it. In fact, most of the things in social media are driven by the youth. It's a medium. Some of us, because of my own age a bit, I can still say I'm within that spectrum, but some people are digital immigrants. These people are digital natives. They are born into it. It's a medium. So by bringing them inside, we feel that if they learn those attitude, skills, and competencies, there's going to be something that's going to stay with them forever. And that is why we say, well, for to address this issue properly, I cannot say it's an elder forum. We have to bring in this youth forum so that they will be part of it. And you can see the way they spoke. You can see the way they express themselves. You see, when you have a home where there's going to be a peaceful coexistence, the children must have a voice. When they have a voice, you learn to understand what they feel and how you can go about addressing their issues. And you see, I want to go back to what we've done so far in this country, where maybe I should mention it, the issue of NSAS. It was the youthful grievances. And because the youth have been complaining, but nobody's listening to them. And at a particular time, they said, let's come up with it. And these are issues.
Therein lies a challenge, which I always think about. And these concepts that are driven at this point in time, sometimes they tend to run against certain cultures and traditions.
Okay.
Particularly of African peoples and of Nigerians, for instance, where a child might not give an opinion where the elders speak.
Yeah.
And these are things that are changing. But change, as we well know, is extremely difficult to come by.
Yeah.
How can a society like Nigeria, that is steeped in certain cultures and traditions, begin to open up to accept new concepts that are being driven by MIL?
Yeah, we need to be a bit careful about that. Because MIL, like I told you, it's also talking about intercultural literacy. It's talking about respect. It's talking about, respect for elders. Everybody has their culture. The Western world has their culture. You see, we have our own culture. MIL is not saying that throw away your culture and adopt what I call cultural imperialism. In fact, in one of the sessions there, I told them, I said, media representation has been skewed to the white. Are you saying it's only that's all over the whole world? So, everybody in some culture, like US culture, Western culture, you look up to your parents. In African culture, it's not done. But African culture believes respect. And I've said something about Yoruba culture, which I believe is another culture. Culture, they believe that the youth must have a voice, but must be done in a respective way. You see, you don't stand and say, Daddy, you're talking nonsense. That is not African way. And we must respect that culture, that African culture. You see, I was in France when I was going on a train, and I saw an old woman standing, and I was seated. I didn't mind, they were all white. I stood up for the old woman. I said, Madam, come and sit down. And he said, we are from Nigeria. He said, you guys have a good culture. You see, the fact is that we come to our culture, Mr. Surya. And MIL is not saying throw away your culture. MIL is saying that empower people. Empower them. Empower the youth. Let the youth understand exactly why you are doing this particular thing you are doing. In the Nigerian context, where MIL comes in is that, okay, we're going to do this, but you must give explanation. They must be convinced. You must work on them. You must let them you must let them buy into it. That's what MIL is saying. If that empowerment, when they buy into it, they drive it. Like now, see them now, they are driving it because we empower them. MIL is not saying that, okay, don't look up to anybody. Critical thinking, asking questions. I'm sorry, let me go back to my own area in academics.
Yes.
Where lecturers have become gods. It's not supposed to be so. I'm sorry to say, Mr. Suri. And that culture, there's a culture that we have that is not good culture. The culture of a personality bigger than the institution. It's not a good culture. It's affecting the way we reason. You see, the personality becomes so big that the institution looks so weak. It's not going to work. We have a culture in a classroom where whatever lecturer says is the right thing. If anybody asks contrary opinion, then you're looking for trouble. That's not a good culture. You see, it should be a culture where students can ask questions, where they can question fundamental assumptions. I make an observation during this planning session. I said, they say Mungo Park discovered River Niger. That's a flawed history. I don't know why that one has been taught over the history for a long time. Where Mungo Park was a stranger in this country. People have been living in Niger. People have been swimming there. They've been fishing there. It has become their livelihood. How come a stranger came to discover where you have been staying? That's the wrong culture. That's something we should challenge. I told them. So the culture we're talking about here, which is intercultural literacy, is that people should understand their differences. People should respect those differences. People should recognize those differences. And people should live with those differences. But when we see culture that does not allow progress, they will challenge it. Like this progress that children don't have anything to say is a lie. Like I told you about Yoruba proverb that says that meaning that a child is wise, the elders is wise. That forms the foundation of Ile-Ife. You get the point now? So the culture they maintain, the Western culture to look against each other, they don't have respect. That's their own problem. But here we still have respect. We will challenge authority in a respectful way. We will challenge assumption in a respectful way. We want ideas to rule. We want a logical statement. And we are pleading to our elders, to our people who are up there, that they should have a listening ear. They should listen to this youth. We have a culture that gives respect. They should not take advantage of that culture. They should take advantage of the culture where they a bit shift. And the shifting is that, let's listen to you. Let's dialogue. Again, and media information literacy is about intercultural dialogue. Dialogue is at the head. We dialogue and say, okay, this is where we think we should be. This is what we want. Government say, this is why we are doing this. It should be a kind of democratic sphere where everybody understands each other and they're able to fit in. That's the culture we should promote.
Well, as we begin to wind down, as one of the experts in driving this forward, the question of using education as the vehicle. This, of course, either way you look at it, would entail funding.
Yeah.
And this is a challenge for most countries in this part of the world. Allocation of resources with so many competing interests. How can this be driven?
Very good. That's what we talk about partnership and collaboration. But also, the government must prioritize the so-called limited economic resources. Education is a focal point. It transforms the whole society. A well-informed citizen is a weapon against any tyranny. When you have a well-informed citizens, so look at how much money we spent on security issue. Look at how much money we have spent on defeating fake news. Look at how much time we've done for those billing. If people are well educated, believe me, we will not spend such money on such things. I want to mention a part of the world where you talk about that culture, the culture of whatever the imam or the bishop says, you don't question it. Go and do this, you go and do that. But if you are well trained and well literate, that is not what your imam or your pastor says that matters, it's what the Quran or the Bible says that matters. And I think there's a section in the Bible where the Bible says, even Paul, people went back to see what he has said is right or wrong. That's what I'm talking about. So we should have that. And that collaboration and that funding, the government, I'm sorry to say, have not been prioritizing education. Education, no amount of investment you spend on education, that is a waste. Somebody said, if you close the wall of classroom, you open the gate to all manner of criminal vices. You see, and Nelson Mandela said, the greatest weapon to fight, to get people, to get a country up is through education. Education is a priority, and so government have to prioritize their spending and focus more on education. And so, like you said, financing, and that is why we are looking at collaborations, partnership. Some countries actually are beginning to see, okay, if you have peace in your country, we have peace here. The issue of migration. Instead of migrating, if you solve their problem, people don't migrate because if they migrate, they're going to share our resources, cause problem. Let's just give them money to do those things. So if we articulate ourselves very well, and then we can begin to talk to people who have donor. We have so many foundations who give money for these things. We have government who are to give money for such things. If the Nigerians don't have enough money, they should also put their own money down, and that is when they can say, okay, we have this on ground. Please, want to do this? Can you give all this? And collaboration is not only about money.
Right.
Expertise is also part of the collaboration. The curriculum development is also part of the collaboration. The lesson learned is also part of the collaboration. The expertise gain is also part of the collaboration. So financing is key, because if you're going to push an idea, philosophy up, you must back up with financing. So the government have to look for it. You see, let me give you an example. When university has a problem of funding, they came to government at the time. Government said, don't have money. They said, okay, don't worry. We will give you an idea. That's where TED Fund came in. TED Fund. And TED Fund, you see what Intervention TED Fund has done. We can do the same thing here. We can say, okay, let's see, can organize something, you are ready to give money on these issues. If you prioritize very well, okay, and if they show that there's transparency with that money, and that money is going to be used for what purpose they want to use it for, monitoring, then you see that this money will come up. And like I said, UNESCO is always there to canvas around. You have other bodies who's canvassing around. You have UNICEF, you have governments, other governments who's canvassing around. So if Nigeria shows seriousness, I can tell you that money will not be an issue.
Well, the Global Week has come to an end.
Yeah.
And on a final cap, what's your takeaway from all of it?
I must commend the government for hosting that week. I must commend the Minister of Information and Culture. He was there truly with us, as if he doesn't have any other thing to do. That's a great commitment. The Permanent Secretary, Information and Culture, the Minister of Digital Media, Mr. Pantami, Professor Pantami, they were all there. You see, and they show commitment. They show, even till the last day. Now, what I've seen is that this has brought up about enlightenment, about what media and information literacy is all about. And this, in a way, has also changed the perspective of government about the way to go about this is not about censorship. It's about multi-stakeholder regulation. And it has also opened the eyes of Nigerian government that the world is watching us. And that the way we go about these digital platforms and social media platform is we're going to be accountable for it. Now that we have said we are Media Information Literacy Society, we want to come out with a MI Institute. We're working on the institute right now. Now, the government begin to do something else. They say, no, you're not looking at your word. So in a way, it has made us to be accountable. In a way, it has bring enlightenment. In a way, it has shaping perceptions, idea of people. In a way, it has created awareness. And in a way, it has prioritized that empowerment, which is about MIL, the skill set. And somebody said something. He said, when Nigeria sneezes, what the rest of Africa does what? Cash is good. Now, the truth is that what has happened in Nigeria is going to affect the rest of Africa. You see, Nelson Mandela said something. He said, the whole Africa look up to Nigeria. And Nigeria, by this, what they have done, I want to thank also Mr. President for giving his assent, and for giving all the backing to it. So you can see that everything was seamless, it was well organized, it was well planned. There was no lacuna. The foreigners were well taken care of to their hotels. And what some of them say? Someone say, Dr. Suraj, is there any way we can shift our citizenship to Nigeria? They saw the intercultural display. You see, Acting Graceful is a program specialist in women. I've been part of it. We go around the whole world together. I've not seen dance like that before. You see, they saw the culture, the diversity. What they do about Nigeria before is always bad news. They saw a different ball game. They saw a country that is well organized. So that's what that's about.
Okay, thank you so much.
The good image, the reputation.
Okay. Dr. Olunifesi Suraj, Associate Professor, Department of Mass Communication, University of Lagos, and UNESCO consultant. We'd like to thank you for coming on One-on-One.
Thank you so much.
And we hope we see you again soon to discuss these matters of MIL. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me. Thanks.
And that's our program for today. We thank you for watching. Next week, we'll be back with One-on-One. I am Cyril Stober. Continue to stay safe.